first program that we wrote waited for time after turning motors on and turning them off. We're now going to modify that to instead wait for a sensor. In particular, we're looking at waiting for the touch sensor to be pressed. So what we'll do is we'll take our original program here and we will modify it, keeping the motors on part and the motor off part the same, but the big change will be in the wait block. Instead of waiting for time, we are going to wait for touch. And specifically, we want to wait for the touch sensor to be pressed. The way that this looks in LabVIEW, we will open up our original motor move function. The motor move program that we wrote previously, if I go to Window, Show Block Diagram, here is the code on the block diagram, turning motors on, waiting 1 second, and then stopping. To modify, I select on this drop-down, instead of time, there's a whole menu of different options for waiting, from touch to sound, ultrasound, Bluetooth, temperature, etc. Some of these are available using the sensors you have in your kit, and some require additional sensors. In this case, we're looking to wait for touch, so I will go under the Wait for Touch menu, and we have bumped, pressed, and release. As we said earlier, we're going to wait for press. So now our program has been changed to turn motors on, wait until the touch sensor is pressed, and then to stop. By mousing over the top of this touch sensor, I happen to know that the default port is port 1. And so on my robot here, I have my motor attached as well as a touch sensor that I have wired into port 1. If I were to use a different port, I of course could modify that in my code. So now we will test this out by running the program. When I hit run, it should run the motor and only stop the motor when I press the touch sensor. So hitting run, the motor is running, and then when I press the touch sensor, the motor stops and the program exits.